All right, I think I'm going to put over here my little mini Genesis 2, or Genesis Mini 2 as it were. All right, so I don't need the box. I'm gonna keep that, throw that over there. There's a soft spot over there. Throw the trash over here. My cat eats plastic, so I gotta make sure I throw that away. And I'm just going to take the power out of the back of this and plug it in over here. And what am I missing? Oh yeah, a controller. So I'm gonna take that 6-button pad, plug it in right here. And I believe this HDMI cable down here is the one that's hooked up to the minis. One thing I hate about these things is they're so lightweight that the cables lift them up off the ground when you plug them in. Lift them up where they're sitting, I should say, not really off the ground. All right, we're gonna turn that bad boy on. Before I do the direct feed here, I'm gonna do a little bit more. Here's the 6-button controller plugged in. We're gonna see if it works. Yeah, it works okay. All right, so it's already selected to English. Let's see, let me get this up a little more so you can see it. There you go. So English, yes. Oh, I love that start music. All right, so we go down over here, get the Shining Force CD, start this bad boy up. And this is a CD game, so it's gonna have a movie at the beginning. I mean, they did a lot of full motion videos in these games. This one doesn't have full motion video, but it has voice narration. So I'll let that movie play here.
Sonic Software Planning.
A fierce battle with Dark Dragon ensued when the Runefaust army invaded.
So that's the original Shining Force from Shining Force 1.
With the heroics of Max and the Shining Force, Dark Dragon was defeated.
Voice narration, by the way, was a big deal back in the 16-bit days. Because before that, you could only have a few. Before CD technology, you could only have a few digitized voices on there. They didn't sound great.
The victors returned to their normal lives, vowing for renewed peace. Some disappeared, some left for further adventure, and some returned to their homes and families. And Henri returned to her kingdom as the queen.
Henri, one of the characters from the first game. She's the daughter of the king in the beginning of Runefaust.
They rebuilt the kingdom from the ashes of the Runefaust invasion.
So one thing that's cool about this was the Shining Force guiding games on the SEGA Game Gear. I think the Shining Force CD was the first two. There's 3 of them total. I think this is the first 2 of them. They kind of packaged them together and redid them for the Sega CD. So this begins 20 years after the very first Shining Force, which is awesome because Shining Force 1 is fantastic. Shining Force 2, I've only just recently played that. I think it's actually technically a lot better than Shining Force 1. Like the graphics are better, the combat's better, the exploration's better, the world's bigger, the story's a lot more in-depth. So I think some of the set pieces are really cool. Like there's one part you're shrunk into like a little tabletop, you're a little miniaturized and stuff like that. Really cool stuff in Shining Force 2. It's just for me, Shining Force 1, I had played that so many times as a kid. So I never got Shining Force 2 as a kid. I have more nostalgia for Shining Force 1, so I love Shining Force 1. Absolutely love Shining Force 2 as well. Played Shining Force CD as a kid. Okay, so any one of these, or any game on here. Oops, so I already started this last night a little bit. We can go and start a new game. Which Shining Force book do you want to read? The cartridge will start at the first level. You start at either one of the two games. But any one of these Genesis Mini 2 games, you just hit on your 6-button controller. You have the mode button up here. You just hit that, and that's going to pull up your menu. You can do your quick loads right here, quick save. You have 4 quick. Every game has 4 quick save slots, and then you can return down to the. Oops, I already hit save, so I hit B, get out of that. And then you can go down here to the main menu. So it's going to take you back to the main menu of the Genesis Mini 2. And then in this, you can hit the X button, and that's going to bring up your settings. You can do game settings, so you can do screen settings. You can stretch it to the full screen. You can do the original. Original is always better, of course. Wallpaper. There's some really loud, obnoxious wallpapers on here that are just really, really colorful. Like that Genesis schematic one's not too bad. That's the Genesis 2, obviously, since this is the Genesis 2. But you can do like a TV that looks like an old a CRT TV. But purple one's not too bad at all. I just go with the black so it's not distracting at all. And in the sound settings, you can choose between the old Genesis Type 1 and the Type 2. Like the sound effects or the music and everything, the sound chips are slightly different, the Yamaha sound chips. I had the Genesis 1, so I'm going to go with that. And in the mode button settings, you can do where you tap it, it quick opens, you hold for 1 second, quick open, 3 seconds. I don't know why you'd want to do that kind of stuff, just quick tap is good. I don't think you're ever going to accidentally hit that button, it's way up here. But then once you get out of this, so you can sort your games any way you want here. You can do, here's CDs first, here's all the CD games on here. Final Fight CD is a fantastic version of Final Fight. It's really good. There's not as many characters on screen at once as like the arcade, but the sound effects, the music, the story at the beginning is narrated. It's got sounds, voices and stuff like that. It's voice acted, so it's a lot more in depth than the arcade. The only thing that's different is like the number of enemies on screen, but you can play as all 3 characters. It was really cool at the time. Shining Force CD on here. Robo Lest is really good. Night Trap, one of those full motion video games. Night Warriors, or not Night Warriors, but Ninja. That's the Night Trap. Ninja Warriors. This is a really good game. Had a bunch of sequels on the Super Nintendo, and I think even PlayStation had some on there. Could be wrong about the PlayStation, but and then you got like Crusader Senti down here. This is a super. I think it's the most expensive SEGA Genesis game to try and buy if you're buying the actual cartridges. It's an overhead like Zelda game. It's probably the best game on this collection. But you got all kinds of cool little games on here. Golden Axe 2, fantastic game. Lightning Force is really, really good. Phantasy Star 2 is really great. Ranger X, one of my favorite games of all time. Absolutely love Ranger X. Shining Force 2. So you got Shining Force 2 and Shining the Darkness, which is like the prequel. Kind of. It's in the same world and stuff, but it takes place way before Shining Force 1. But it's not a tactical RPG. It's dungeon crawling, first-person dungeon crawling sections. Never really got into that, or Shining, what's the other one? Shining Wisdom, I think it was, on the Sega Saturn. It was another one by Camelot, or not Camelot, but Climax and Sonic Team Planning. But yeah, I never got into those ones. I like the tactical role-playing games ones better, but eventually I'll play those. Space Harrier 2, this is supposed to be a new rejiggered port of Space Harrier 2. Is supposed to run a lot better on the emulated hardware, so that's cool. Splatterhouse 2 is great. Streets of Rage 3 is good. You want to play the Japanese version. You want to play Bare Knuckle 3 though, which you can do on here by, let's see. I think you have to actually change the language to be able to do that. So let's see, how do we do that? Languages, Japanese. Okay, we'll back out. So you want to play down here. It was in the same, I don't know if it's the same, I guess it's not the same order as the last one. There it is, Bare Knuckle 3. Bare Knuckle 3 is fantastic. It's the version of Street Fighter 3 you want to play. It doesn't have the weird color changes they made, but then there's a bunch of edits. They cut things they cut out of the US version. They made the US version a lot harder. Everything is way, way, way better in Bare Knuckle 3. If this had come out as Street Fighter 3, I mean not Street Fighter 3, but Streets of Rage 3 instead of what we got, I think Streets of Rage 3 would be viewed a lot better. It's kind of the black sheep of the franchise right now. But Bare Knuckle 3 is actually a fantastic version. It's really, really, really good. But I mean, You can look up translations of the story if you wanted to. Like, the story's not really important in these kind of games, but everything else is. I mean, you have your character select here. But as you can see, he has his white t-shirt on. She's wearing a little mini skirt. Everything's the same as the other Streets games, and this is a fantastic game. There's like a boss character that's like I guess he's a trans boss character, or maybe he's just like flamboyantly gay. I don't remember. I think he's flamboyantly gay, and for some reason they had to censor that for the Western releases. I don't know why. There's some of the people you fight, like their skimpy little outfits, like they have little skirts and bikinis and type things on and stuff like that. They cut all that out for the English version. But just the gameplay is way different too. Like the gameplay, like I said, they artificially increased the difficulty on the Western release, so it's not that fun, which is a shame because the gameplay in this game is probably the best in the of the original 3 games. I think Streets of Rage 4 is actually the best in the series. That was made by the original people, obviously. But just a fantastic game. I mean, as you can see, everything you need to know is in English. The names of the guys, things like that. But yeah, so if you have one of these, or you just have a Streets of Rage collection, or you have this downloaded somewhere, Streets of Rage 3, play the Japanese release, the Bare Knuckle 3 version. That's the best version I have. And then again, you can just hit this. Go in here and do your save slots here. So save is the first option right here. Save right here, yes, and then you back out. Oops, let me get out of here. So this would be the main menu again. Yes, so I'm going to go to the main menu. Apparently I did not go to the main menu. This is the main menu. Alright, and then again you just hit X to go to settings. Change the language. That's weird because this is... Doesn't say Japanese. There, now it says Japanese. Nihongo. Okay, there we go. English is the second option. Yep, there you go. Alright, so hopefully this thing gets hacked soon like the Genesis Mini did, because I put all my favorite games on there with the hack cheat. I put all my favorite games as a kid on there, so all the good Genesis games I have on my SEGA Genesis Mini. On this one, I wanted to put all the SEGA CD games on there, like Snatcher. The SEGA CD was the only US release or English release of this game Snatcher, which is a fantastic game, Hideo Kojima game, based on Blade Runner. It's kind of a rip-off of Blade Runner, but it's really good. You got Terminator CD, which the Terminator came out on Genesis, so it was kind of a crappy version. But the Terminator CD, they kind of remade the whole game, and it was fucking awesome. Fucking great game. Mortal Kombat, the load times were really bad on Mortal Kombat, but the sound effects were better, and the music, like especially the start music, it has the soundtrack from the movie, or the main song from the movie, Mortal Kombat! Fantastic. Both the Lunar games, Working Designs didn't want to, or maybe Sega tried to lowball them, they didn't want to license their translations for the 2 Lunar games, so the Japanese market got the 2 Lunar games. We didn't get them here in the West, but I want to put those on there. There's a game called Dark Wizards, a bunch of Sega CD games I want to put on here. I'm really looking forward to. So hopefully this does get hacked soon, and we can add those. I don't put Retro Arc and all this other crap on here. I just do, like, this is the SEGA Genesis with the SEGA CD, so I'm just going to put SEGA CD games on it. My Genesis Mini, I put just Genesis games on there. That's how I like to do it. I'm going to get my PlayStation Mini, my Nintendo Mini, TurboGrafx, and Super Nintendo Mini all right around the beginning of next year. So I'm going to hack all the same thing. I'll hack all those and just put the games for those respective platforms on there. That's how I like to do it. But anyways, this is a quick look at the SEGA Genesis Mini 2. I think it's fantastic. It's going to be a lot of fun. And yeah, pick one up if you can still pick one up. They're real cheap. And if you can't, watch some people or watch some of the reviews on this, or people playing some of the games on there. See if you like some of those games. You can download them on RetroArch or however you have other kind of emulation you want to do. Even if you have the Genesis Mini 1, or you can just do it onto your Xbox, whatever you want to do emulation, or do the original hardware and get those games, whatever you want to do. There's some fantastic old SEGA games. Play SEGA. SEGA is the best. SEGA! Alright, well, thanks for watching, and you guys take it easy.
I hate to see you go, but I love to watch you leave.
Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out. No thanks. Don't mind me. I'ma just grab my stuff and leave. Excuse me, please. Fuck this shit, I'm out. Fuck this shit, I'm out.